Imagine you're watching your favorite TV show, and suddenly, the screen freezes and switches to something dark, disturbing, and unexplainable. It could be a person trying to convey some cryptic message. It could be just a downright weird recording of someone doing something unexplainable and eerie. Or it could be the devil that hijacked the TV. And yeah, this is what we're going to be talking about and looking into in today's video: TV hijacks. This is one of my favorite topics, so I decided to make a video on it and an iceberg on it. This iceberg will get into the weirdest, the creepiest, and the scariest TV hijacks in television history. So without further ado, let's get into the video with the TV Hijacks Iceberg explained. Alright, just getting right into the iceberg, starting off with Tier 1, Alien Villain Interruption, 1977. The Southern television broadcast Interruption of 1977 remains a notable event in broadcasting history. On November 26, during a Southern television broadcast in parts of southern England, the audio was unexplainably replaced by a distorted voice claiming to represent the Ashtar Galactic Command. This voice, identifying as Vreelan, urged humanity to disarm themselves and embrace peace to achieve spiritual evolution. The interruption, lasting nearly 6 minutes, startled viewers and prompted a flurry of concerned calls to the station.
Representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command speaking to you. For many years you have seen us as lights in the stars. We speak to you now. We send this theme as we have done to your brothers and sisters all over this, your planet Earth. We come to warn you of the destiny of your race and your world, so that you may communicate to your fellow beings the course you must take to avoid the disaster which threatens your world and the beings on other worlds around you.
In investigations that followed, it revealed that the Hannington transmitter, operated by the Independent Broadcasting Authority, had inadvertently rebroadcasted a signal from an unauthorized transmitter nearby, rather than the intended source at the Row Ridge transmitted station. The incident garnered widespread attention in British and American media, with conflicting reports on the identity of the speaker and the exact wording of the message. While the hoax was confirmed by authorities, some individuals within the UFOlogy community questioned the official explanation, fueling speculation about the possibility of extraterrestrial contact. The event left a lasting impression on UFOologists and just people in general, becoming a subject for urban folklore and even finding its way into popular culture, such as being featured in a 1999 episode of the children's television series It's a Mystery. Telewizja Solidarnosc, 1985. The Telewizja Solidarność hijacking incident of 1985 stands out as a unique act of protest and defiance against the oppressive regime in Poland. Orchestrated by a group of astronomers led by John Hans from the University of Turin, the television hijack was a carefully planned operation involving a complex device constructed with basic equipment, including a ZX Spectrum computer, Sanyo monitor, TV set, cables, and antennas. Their aim was to disrupt the broadcast of Polish news and soap opera programs with messages condemning and rejecting price increases, lies in the government, and repression, alongside calls for boycotting elections, all in support of the Solitary movement. By genlocking the ZX spectrum to the TVP video signal, they synchronized their messages to be transmitted during key moments of the broadcast. However, the success of their hijack relied heavily on the precise alignment with the television transmitters, so this was a really hard thing to do. If not properly aligned, the message would appear distorted or off-center and not fully reach their message, potentially interfering with synchronization signals and the ability to properly hijack the TV program. Despite this technical challenges, the astronomers managed to convey their messages effectively to the TV programs. Jan Hans and 3 organizers who helped out on the hijack were all arrested shortly after the broadcast interruption and later sentenced to 1 year of imprisonment. And actually, before we continue on in the video, consider subscribing to the channel. The next channel goal is 250,000 subscribers, so consider subscribing to the channel. It helps a lot and help the channel reach that goal. It's free to subscribe, and you can always change your mind. Alright, anyways, let's get back into the video. Starting off with The Winkers Song, 2017. In July of 2017, a local radio station called Mansfield 103.2 has been repeatedly targeted by someone playing an adult-themed song during the broadcasts. The song, called The Winkers Song by comedy band 𝗔𝘂𝗴𝘂𝘁𝘁, had been played 8 times in just a month. The station's manager, 𝗔𝘂𝗴𝘂𝘁𝘁, explained that these rogue broadcasts are interrupting live events and causing a stir among listeners. While some find it funny, others, especially parents, are concerned about what their children are hearing in the inappropriate content. Despite efforts to catch the culprit, including involving the police and communications regulator Ofcom, no progress has been made in finding the man. The person responsible is using a mobile transmitter, making it difficult to track them down. Ofcom has emphasized the seriousness of this interference, labeling it as a criminal activity with potential legal consequences, including imprisonment and fines. The band behind the song, 𝗔𝘂𝗴𝘂𝘁𝘁, is led by Robert Doc Cox, known for his appearances on BBC TV's That's Life program. I would play the song here, but it's copyrighted and too inappropriate for YouTube, but it's pretty weird hijacking that targeted a specific radio station for whatever reason that no one knows, and the man behind the hijacks and targeting has still not been caught to this day. Weird Russian Hijack, 2014. Yeah, this entry's name is about perfect for describing this hijack. It's super weird, alright, but let me try to explain this odd Russian interference and hijack. Alright, so on May 26, 2014, a regular broadcast on Russia's Channel 1 of the Russian television series Heijacks Iceberg, the Russian version of the popular American sitcom Married with Children, got interfered with a very odd, weird, and honestly unsettling hijack. The TV show was playing it as normal, and then suddenly it came to a stop, and then started playing this. Random ABC Hijack, 2008. This entry is pretty simple and most likely not that sinister. ABC News was playing as usual, and then at the end of their broadcast, played some weird static animation thing. Most likely it was just a technical error on the news station side and not a crazy hijack or anything, but let me know in the comments if it's anything more creepy that I'm just not seeing. Ronald Reagan Hijack, 1989. Ronald Reagan Hijack. And actually, before we get into this entry and further down in the iceberg, I just want to let you guys know that there isn't actually a lot of coverage or any news sources talking about these hijacks, and all we have is the video in most of these entries, so I'm just trying my best to explain and speculate on why the hijack is happening or what it's even about, because most of the time these hijackers actually get away and have no explanation, and no one finds who they are, so it's all just up to speculation. And also feel free to leave comments down below about anything I misinterpreted or got wrong or just didn't find a source on. Alright, let's get back into it. On a late December evening in 1989, a Los Angeles television station was victim of a broadcast signal takeover. A broadcast of the Reagan/book gavel passing was interrupted by a man wearing a tinfoil mask. The crazed person uttered mostly gibberish and becomes flustered when a piece of his, quote, set falls apart. 30 seconds later, the program returned to normal, but it's honestly pretty funny watching him fumble through his speech. Let me just play the clip.
Thank you.
American sheeple, I am here to convey to you a message of mine. Open your eyes. The secret police have come to the CIA through Ronald Reagan's administration, the WWF, Florida.
Hey, come on, got this.
Did you just say my name?
Random Eerie Sounds, 1968. Random Eerie Sounds, or the Devil Talking. This is a nationwide TV hijacking that happened in 1968. The hijacking is often described as lasting about 25 seconds with some sort of demonic creature mumbling before everything went back to normal. In 1968, all of the televisions in America were shut down briefly. There was a murmuring on the TV that some believe was the devil's voice. The televisions were off for about 25 seconds, but this one is definitely weird considering every single TV in America experienced this at the same time. But here, just listen to the clip and decide for yourself if you think the devil hijacked TVs or it's just some sort of nationwide technical error. Max Headroom Incident, 1987. The Max Headroom Incident of 1987 remains one of the most bizarre and iconic instances of television signal hijacking in history. On the evening of November 22nd, 1987, during the broadcast of an episode of Doctor Who on WTTW/TV in Chicago, the signal was suddenly interrupted by a mysterious figure wearing a Max Headroom mask and sunglasses. This individual, known as Max Headroom, proceeded to hijack the signal for about 90 seconds, during which he delivered a series of nonsensical and disjointed messages while engaging in various antics, including swaying back and forth and moving erratically. The incident was shocking and puzzling to viewers in the Chicago area, who were left wondering who Max Headroom was and what his intentions were. Despite extensive investigations by authorities, the identity of the hijacker remains unknown to this day.
Hot drink.
Some dry clothing.
Stop watching this, brother. We must fight the MPLA. This hijacking was more than a funny prank by a few gamers than anything more creepy, but the show, The Amazing World of Gumball, was playing like regular on Cartoon Network, and then suddenly switched to, stop watching this, brother, we must fight the MPLA, which is a meme in the Call of Duty community. Pretty funny thing that happened, although some people debate if this even happened or not, or it's just an edited hoax. Tier 2. Dead Bodies Are Rising, 2012. On February 11th, 2013, a series of television stations in Montana, Michigan, Washington, and New Mexico experienced a bizarre incident where their emergency alert systems was hijacked. During the hijacking, the station's broadcasts were interrupted with a fake emergency message warning of a zombie apocalypse. This message was quickly determined to be a hoax by local authorities, and it was later revealed that hackers gained access to the station's EAS equipment to carry out the prank.
Civil authorities in your area have reported that the bodies of the dead are rising from their graves and attacking the living. Follow the messages on screen that will be updated as information becomes available. Do not attempt to approach or apprehend these bodies as they are considered extremely dangerous. I repeat.
The first incident occurred in Great Falls, Montana. During an airing of the Steve Wiekos show on KRTV, similar hijacking then took place in Marquette, Michigan, La Crosse, Wisconsin, and Portales, New Mexico, affecting multiple television stations. The hackers were eventually apprehended by authorities, but their identities and the motives remain unknown. In a separate incident in February 2017, a radio station in Randolph County, Indiana, experienced a similar hijacking with the same fake emergency message. This prompted the local sheriff's department to issue a public statement clarifying that it was just a false alarm. The hijackings were made possible by vulnerabilities in the station's EAS equipment, including the use of default passwords and unpatched software. Following the incidents, government agencies urged broadcasters to strengthen their security measures and reset their passwords to prevent future breaches. The hijackings sparked investigations by both local and federal authorities, including the FBI and FCC. While the perpetrators were caught and arrested, details about their identities and charges remain undisclosed and unknown. Jesus Christ, Help Us All Lord, 2007. The Australian Mayday incident, otherwise known as the Jesus Christ, Help Us All Lord incident, which occurred on January 3, 2007, during the broadcast of a Canadian documentary on Channel 7, remains a perplexing and eerie event. As viewers tuned in to watch the documentary about air travel disasters, they were unexpectedly confronted with audio from a previous news broadcast detailing an attack on the Halliburton convoy.
Jesus Christ, help us all, Lord. 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 Jesus Christ, help us all, Lord.
For approximately 5 unsettling minutes, viewers heard a looping track of a truck driver named Preston Wheeler reacting to the ambush, repeatedly pleading, Jesus Christ, help us all, Lord. The news story reported 3 deaths and 2 injuries resulting from the attack. The aftermath of the incident was a mysterious one, as the malfunction itself, despite the clear deviation from the intended programming, Channel 7 attributed the disruption to a, quote, technical glitch, and insisted that the audio was actually part of the documentary. However, viewers were left shaken by the experience, with some describing it as creepy and bizarre. One viewer attempted to contact the station but received no response, adding an air of secrecy surrounding the incident. Despite the strangeness of the event, no further investigations was conducted and quickly faded from the public's attention. Playboy Channel Religious Message, 1987. The incident involving the disruption of a Playboy Channel broadcast with a religious message on September 6, 1987, remains a curious and weird chapter in broadcasting history. During the airing of the movie 3 Daughters, viewers were surprised to see a text-only message appear on their screens, urging them to remember the Sabbath and repent for their sins.
I know that she wants.
Thomas Hijacking, an employee of the Christian Broadcasting Network, was eventually convicted of satellite piracy in connection with the incident. Investigations were drawn to CBN due to the religious content of the message and the technical clues left behind by the jamming signal. These clues led them to believe that CBN, or the Christian Broadcasting Network, was responsible, as they identified the brand of a transmitter and character generator used in the transmission. CBN argued that the case against Hijacking was circumstantial, as there were no witnesses and the signal could not be traced to a specific point of origin. They also contended that their equipment was incapable of generating enough power to jam the Playboy channel signal. Despite attempts to recreate the incident during the investigation, experts were unable to replicate it using CBN's equipment. After a trial where the jury initially struggled to reach a verdict, Hijacking was eventually convicted of 2 counts of satellite piracy. He received 3 years of probation, a $1,000 fine, and 150 hours of community service. However, he was acquitted of the smaller charges and related to interfering with the channels. But it's interesting how they kind of proved how he didn't have the power to do it, and he couldn't do it. So was it some sort of religious hierarchy that came down and stopped a Playboy movie, or was it just him and he got caught guilty? Captain Midnight. John R. McDougal, operating under the alias Captain Midnight, orchestrated a signal jamming incident on April 27, 1986, during a broadcast of the film The Falcon and the Snowman on HBO. This action was a protest against HBO's rates for satellite dish owners, which McDougal deemed too expensive. Using equipment at the Central Florida Teleport uplink station where he worked, McDougal transmitted a message onto the Galaxy 1 satellite. overriding HBO's telecast with a text message visible to subscribers across the eastern United States. The message, which signed Captain Midnight, criticized HBO's subscription fee of $12.95 per month and warned against purchasing the Showtime/movie channels, urging viewers to be beware. Hughes Communications, the owner of the satellite, quickly noticed the jamming and threatened to take action, considering the perpetrator a domestic terrorist. Despite attempts by HBO technicians to remain in control of the transmission, McDougal persisted for about 90 seconds before abandoning his control out of fear of damaging the satellite. Following the incident, the Federal Communications Commission launched an investigation, eventually narrowing down the suspects to McDougal. He surrounded the authorities around media and industry pressure, and under a plea agreement, he was fined $5,000, received 1 year of supervised probation, and had his amateur radio license suspended for 1 year. The incident led to the passage of the Electronic Communications Privacy Act of 1986, making satellite hijacking a felony. It also prompted the development of the Automatic Transmitter Identification System to identify unauthorized uplink transmissions quickly. While McDougal's actions garnered attention and sympathy from some disgruntled satellite dish owners, he faced legal consequences and later expressed regret over not being able to fully convey his motivations. The incident remains a big chapter in the history of satellite television and broadcasting regulations because he actually made satellite hijacking a felony, and that was his fault that he made it, an actual law now. Anonymous Hack, 2015. Anonymous, the group known for its cyber attacks against certain government agencies, news stations, and other institutions, hacked Fox News live on air for about a minute before resuming back on air. And the hacker or hackers talk about their message, which is about news stations lying to people, but it's a lot to explain, so let me just play the clip.
Dear Fox News, it has come to our attention that you have been alienating the American people by propagating the left-right false dichotomy, promoting fear by exaggerating the threat of terrorist attacks, supporting the corporate astroturfed Tea Party, and trying to pass it off as a grassroots movement, and covering up corporate corruption by forcing your employees to lie on the air.
Tier 3, Nuclear Explosion, 2007. The Ziotos group's actions in June 2007, where they hacked into a live television broadcast to show a pre-recorded video of a fictional atomic explosion with a mushroom cloud over the Kurnos Mountains, caused quite a stir. Their intent was to challenge the perception of reality in media and provoke discussion about the power of mass communication. However, their stunt led to legal repercussions, with 6 members facing prosecution for scaremongering and spreading false information. The potential penalties included prison sentences to up to 3 years. Despite the serious charges, a Czech judge eventually dismissed the scaremongering accusations in March 2008, arguing that the public reaction was more amusement than unrest. This incident sparked debate about the boundaries of artistic expression, freedom of speech, and the responsibilities of media outlets to verify the authenticity of their content. While the stunt was controversial and faced legal consequences, it also earned the group recognition from the Czech National Gallery, which awarded them the NG333 prize for other works unrelated to the broadcast incident. Shire Town Hijack, 1986. Shire, a township situated in Kent, United Kingdom, became the focal point of a devastating outbreak caused by an unidentified pathogen, although it was suspected to be rabies. The severity of the outbreak led to the complete destruction of the town and killing basically everyone inside that town, with the British government resorting to heavy censorship to conceal information about the disease and how it affected the town. In 2016, footage of a broadcast hijacking or intrusion from the RWNS TV teletext channel surfaced on YouTube. The video depicted news about the outbreak before being interrupted by disturbing images warning viewers that they were entering an infected area afflicted by rabies. These images were likely borrowed from a British public service announcement from the 1970s, according to the comments on the video. Accompanying the images was a medium to low-pitched screeching noise, adding to an unsettling nature of the intrusion and the hijacking. You are on the fastest route, 2014. Local 58. You are on the fastest available route is a chilling hijacking that begins innocuously with a display of a Local 58's early morning schedule, featuring a midnight movie followed by paid programming. However, the paid programming text is mysteriously deleted, and the screen transitions to dashcam footage starting at 1:57 a.m. The footage captures a late-night drive through a city, guided by a GPS system. The GPS repeatedly assures the driver that they are on the fastest available route. Despite the journey's estimated time exceeding 2 hours, as the drive continues, the navigation's instructions become increasingly bizarre, leading the driver down unconventional paths like a quarry utility road and a sealed-off service causeway. Despite the extended duration of the drive, the GPS continues to insist on its chosen route. Eventually, the driver finds themselves on a desolate road in the heart of a forest. The navigation prompts them to stop the car and turn off their headlights, plunging them into darkness. Suddenly, a terrifying roar echoes through the night, and the driver glimpses a monstrous humanoid figure in the distance. Fearing for their life, the driver hastily resumes driving, attempting to escape the forest. However, the navigation system's directions become contradictory, first indicating that the destination is behind them or abruptly claiming that they are rapidly approaching it.
East for 1/4 of a mile, then follow signs for do not enter. Continue on unnamed road, then, in 300 feet, turn off your headlights. Rerouting. Make a U-turn. Your destination is behind you. Rerouting. In 500 feet. Your destination will be on in 300 feet. Your destination in 250 feet. Rerouting. Your destination will be in 50 feet. You will arrive at your destination.
Another roar reverberates through the forest, and the footage cuts to the aftermath of a crash. Flames engulf the scene as the camera, now on the ground, obscures the date and the time. The broken navigation system eerily murmurs, "You have arrived," before a final roar fills the air. Tier 4 in the final tier. Question mark, question mark, question mark. 2010.
Fear is my wedding dress not fitting. All right, y'all better be ready.
Let me see it right now.
On September 10th, 2010, around 4 p.m., while people were watching Bridezilla's Something Strange Happened on the TV. The show suddenly stopped for about 8 seconds. Then, out of nowhere, a spooky figure with a scary face showed up on the screen for about 10 seconds. Weird, loud sounds played in the background, making everything even creepier. And I think this one is just the creepiest on the list in my opinion, because I couldn't imagine watching TV and then this pops up onto the screen. Like, this is just horrifying. The Wyoming Incident, 2008. The Wyoming Incident, also known as the Wyoming Hijacking, is a rare case of television broadcast hijacking that occurred in a local programming channel believed to serve several small communities in Niobrara County, Wyoming. During the interruption, a mysterious hacker aired their own video, featuring numerous clips of disembodied human heads displaying various emotions and poses. The video was accompanied by unsettling sound effects and frequent changes in camera angles. While the video gained local notoriety, it had a disturbing effect on some viewers who experienced symptoms like vomiting, hallucinations, and headaches. Specialists later determined that these effects were caused by the frequencies played during the broadcast, particularly between 17 and 19 Hz, which could induce visual hallucinations. And alright, that wraps up the TV Hijacks Iceberg Explained. This was definitely one of my favorite icebergs I've covered by far, and surprisingly really scary, especially towards the bottom. Like, those were just crazy. I couldn't imagine seeing those on TV. But I hope you enjoyed too. Thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe and like the video for more, and it helps out the channel a lot. And alright, until next time, see ya.